welcome to, I don't even know where we're going to put this on our playlists. What is this, a TV show? Is it a film? Is it a review? It's a very tricky one.
It's a film review. Welcome to our channel. If you're new to it, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and have a look around, because there's a lot going on in here.
Have a look around, have a look up there. Something there right now. So this is Bo Burnham's Inside from Netflix, on Netflix. Bo Burnham, to give you a grab on him, was a YouTuber. He performed sort of jokey... The
story's so extraordinary, because as you try and explain it, you're not going to be able to explain it.
He performed jokey kind of pastiche songs from as young as 16 as a teenager on YouTube. Made a huge name for himself, then proceeded to become a stand-up comedian, which he did the same thing. He would perform songs with a comedy shtick and a stand-up routine. And as we discovered in this film, he then went on to kind of obviously struggle with issues in terms of performing, going on stage and what have you, and has since metamorphosized into, the first I came across him was as the director of 8th grade.
And writer of.
When we were at the Sundance Film Festival, and there he was, this really affable, wonderfully engaging man who'd made this wonderful film about a young 13-year-old girl.
And it's an extraordinary film. If you
Extraordinary
haven't seen
film. Go and check it out. In fact, I'll pop up here now our 8th grade review, so you can check it out.
And you were actually at a film festival, weren't you?
Sundance, yeah.
At the Sundance, and you heard him speak, and you were both completely enamoured.
And it was wonderful. We asked him, I think we asked him a couple of questions. He was so self-effacing, but he was so driven. He was so articulate. It was just brilliant.
As far as I'm concerned, he's a genius, this guy. I didn't know about this film till last night.
You will probably know him best for playing the love interest in Promising Young Woman, starring Kerry Mulligan, which is where you first stumbled across him.
Well, I first fell in love with my only knowledge of him before last night was 8th grade, which I totally loved, and then Promising Young Woman.
He's not in that. He directed it.
He directed it, wrote it, did everything, and then because he does everything. He's one of those. But then Promising Young Woman, he actually performed in it. I couldn't believe it was the same guy who'd made the 8th grade.
Quite amazing.
He's fantastic in it. For me, he's a real highlight of Promising Young Woman. And then last night we accidentally watched Inside. Well, and now I really know him.
Well, yeah, I'd read a review of this about 3 weeks ago. I don't know how long it's been out. And I thought, oh, there must be, and I'd just forgotten about it. And then we were sat there last night and Maddie was listening to, it's like a meme or it's something that she'd got on her phone, which was called White Woman's Instagram.
Yeah, because she said it's all over TikTok, this.
And it's hysterical. And then I went, Bo Burnham. I said, who's that? And she said, it's Bo Burnham. I said, oh, hang on. There's this freaking new film that he's shot, or this program that he's shot for Netflix in lockdown. And for the duration of lockdown, Netflix charged him with the project, if you like, of shooting himself, filming himself, doing whatever he wanted to do in lockdown. And so it's called Inside.
We were trying to work it out. It looks like a flat or a loft.
It's like an end of the garden office.
But whatever it is, it's extremely claustrophobic. You feel locked in.
Yeah.
And like Mark says, he shoots it all himself, lights it all himself, and just that in itself is a feat as you watch it.
Showing all his YouTube credentials and technicalities. He's dealing with lights, he's dealing with foot pedals, he's dealing with reflections, he's dealing with projections, he's dealing with musical interaction, he's dealing with editing, he's dealing with costumes, props, he's dealing with absolutely every conceivable thing.
And also having to be objective.
Yeah. And
not indulgent, which just that one.
So it's really hard to define it because it is it's essentially a 90, Neddy's right, at its simplest it's a 90-minute film, but he's so good in it because he talks about generating content. It's a piece of content unlike anything else you'll have seen. It's a series of, it's a series of songs about him, about his life, about the state of the world for young adults, for 30-year-olds.
He's broken out a whole new genre.
Yeah, it is.
Because you can't define it as a musical. You can't define it. For me, it was a play. We kept saying all the way through it, oh my God, I want to see him on Broadway. It's a play, it's a film, it's a TV series,
but it's
also a musical, it's a comedy.
Yeah, because at points you were getting sort of Evan Hansen vibes. You could see it translated into a massive Broadway hit if you wanted it. Though at the same time, it's about how small it was. Yeah, you only want him.
No, but you could recreate that in a massive auditorium.
No. But for me, part of the charm of it was the fact that it was locked in. You could recreate that locked-in room. It's very much a film about lockdown. You see him change across the film. Not just his beard, but you see his spirit go.
He is a fabulous actor. He's a really good dramatic actor as well as everything else. We all fell in love with him throughout the film, didn't we? Like we did in Promising.
Absolutely.
He's somebody you just fall in love with because and we, you know, we're both, we you know, our background is television, you know, and so to watch, and there's so much snootiness to the online world, and for us it was really exciting, wasn't it, watching this man to reach stratospheric levels, totally self-taught, you know, having started on YouTube, and to get to this place of such freedom, because he hasn't got the restrictions of producers and, you know, that's our dog, by the way, not Mark's blood. You know, this absolute freedom, and because he started young and within YouTube, he just has this perspective on the world and on the online world that the girls, it was just chiming and hitting just so perfectly. He understands them, you know. But for us, oh my God, he just was able to articulate so much of what I think and feel about the world, but could never do in the way that he did. And that's always, for me, great art, when somebody can do that.
Yeah, totally agree.
They can speak for you, what's in your heart, what's in your mind, and you hardly even knew it, kind of thing.
But what I think he did as well, he did a really good job for saying he's a product of the internet age, and he wouldn't be who he is if it wasn't for the internet age. I thought he did a really good job in a very different way to something like the social dilemma, of telling us all of the terrible qualities of this tech, all of the, in a sense, malevolent intent behind it, the terrible consequences of it, the way in which it kind of fucks up our minds, it fucks up our kids, it fucks up it just fucks you up in many ways. But he also, at the same time, what you're seeing on screen is an absolute flourishing, almost like an astonishing flower unfurling about all the greatest elements of it, because he's exploiting them. He's doing it. All of the, you know, the system, the internet. There's a brilliant song in there about the internet. Brilliant song in there about white Instagrammers. Brilliantly funny song about sexting, which the girls were on the floor. I mean, Maddie Akika were on the floor.
Howling with aye.
It's, I mean, he's funny, but then there are moments...
He's so self-deprecating as well.
And then there are moments of real serious introspection. So it's like a wave. It's like you're moving through waves after waves. And
it's an hour and a half, but in a good way. It feels so much longer. You feel like you lived a life with him through it. He's taken you into his soul. And don't you think?
Yeah, totally.
I don't think that's so dramatic when you say it.
No, not at all. And I mean, in some ways, you know, I was waiting for it to veer into self-indulgence or into a sort of self-awareness where you're thinking...
He pulls it back.
Yeah, and of course that happens a little bit, but at the point that it does, he literally yanks it back into first gear.
There was a moment, and I knew you would have been thinking it as well. It's like, that's enough, and immediately yanks it. It was like he's a brilliant editor.
Yeah. I mean, everything in this he has created. But I also like the fact that within it there was also... What was really sweet was, as he was getting to the end, of course, we're all sitting here watching it. It's on Netflix. He has it's being watched and downloaded. It's being chopped up and put on TikTok and all this kind of stuff. So it's successful. But whilst, of course, you're it really took me back to the dark, grey fear of lockdown as well, specifically, and of this crisis. And his fears and his paranoia and his worry that this wouldn't resonate for anyone, that it wouldn't get made, that it wouldn't be watched.
People would watch it.
Yeah, so you felt that, and I thought his creative fears were really real, and they tied into our fears around the pandemic.
And there's quite a few moments where you think, oh, this is the end of the film, and it must have been him kind of ending it. What was that beautiful song where he says it's all going to be okay?
Yeah, no.
God.
And it's not bleak.
It literally gets into your soul.
It's not bleak.
I mean, the song about the internet is just pure genius. It's the way we can just listen to the songs.
Yeah, you can. I think they're on his channel. He's on YouTube. Well, he's released the album. He's streamed the album, and it was done like an organ grinder, wasn't it? He was the master of ceremonies, playing the piano. Welcome to the internet. I know.
The glasses, the
chilling. I had goosebumps all the way through it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't find fault with this.
Yeah.
Not in any way. It's a tour de force. With an utter genius.
And every time I turned around to the room, it was appealing to Nanny Di, 71, Patrick, Kiki, and Maddie. Everyone was in absolute
ages, down to 30.
awe. In absolute awe. Yeah. It held us. And it's a self-portrait. It's a brilliantly beautiful self-portrait.
And he breaks all the rules, which is what we love.
Love it.
If a studio had got a hold of that, or a TV, you know, he just...
Oh my God, imagine the meetings with execs. Well, I don't know if we could do that. And that moment where it went to real insanity, where he broke the camera off and he was kind of whacking it around and stuff. It was raw. It's raw and smooth. It's slick and it's jagged. It's just a brilliantly honest, searingly honest portrait of a creative individual going through this weird year that we've all been through.
Yeah. I did have a moment of like, oh God, I didn't really do anything.
He does,
like when
he does
people
leave you
talk about
feeling a
those
little bit
people that went
insufficient.
away and learned a language.
Oh, so
and
you
learned
went
a
and made a
guitar.
90-minute
He
movie.
went and made a genius 90-minute
Yeah.
movie and was able to articulate so much of what, but just personally speaking, that I have felt and thought and just haven't been able to. He condensed this year for me.
I'm going to say something bold now. It's the best thing I've seen on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's a Netflix original. Check it out.
Please check it out.
Please check it out.
sit with it
Sit with
because it's a little piece of genius, and watch it with your kids.
Yeah.
Or kids, get your parents to watch it because it's important for everyone. There's so much that we learn and we can understand about how we're living. How we're living.
Yeah, I mean, it really talks about what we were living like before the crisis and how be mindful of what we're returning to as we come out of the crisis. And if you're a parent and you want to be really cool, suggest to watch this to your teens. Believe me.
Though, if they suggest it.
That's true. Don't suggest it. Don't suggest it. Don't suggest it. How do we get them to watch it?
I don't know. Watch it in private.
Yeah, watch it in private.
In the loo.
Yeah.
For more film and family fun, don't forget to click the subscribe button and make sure to click the bell to never miss an update.